which equation, one of these four equations, is equivalent to this equation. And they are stopping before they solve the equation and finding one of these answers here. I would like to go ahead and solve the equation, which I probably will, but let's just see if we can come up with one of these four answers real quick. All right, so let's take, write our 6x down, take this equation, write 6x. What's negative 2 times 4x? Distribute the negative 2 onto the 4x, and negative 2 times plus 3. And that equals 10x, okay? Now, if you have $6 and you spend 8, well, you can't do that, can you? Well, in real life, we do. We have where we owe some money, huh? We had 6, we spent 8, now I owe 2. Bring down the other numbers, and there is one of our answers here. We stop right here. Negative 2x minus 6 equals 10x. Which one of these four is it? The one with the 6, right? The negative 6, right here. You can go back and look and see. Yep, that's it. Now, let's go ahead and take my equation again. I'm going to work just like I hadn't done anything on it. I'm going to solve this, because one of the things I don't like having is a negative 2x. I don't like having a negative 2x. So I'm going to try to find a way to do this without getting a negative 2x, okay? In other words, I don't want to deal with negative 2 times 4x. I'd rather have a plus 2 times 4x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this sign to the opposite and add that to both sides of the equation. So the negative 2, if I add it here as a plus 2, I've got to add it as a plus 2 over here. Now watch, we have 6x, we have our equals, we have our 10x, and now I have plus 2 times 4. Instead of negative 2 times 4, which gave me one of my answers here, I'm going to have a plus 2 times 4. So I have my 6, I have my 10. 2 times 4 is what? So these are like terms now, by the way. 2 times 4x is 8x, and 2 times 3 is 6. So these being like, I'm going to add them together. So you'll have 6x equals, what is this? This is 18? 18x plus 6. Okay? Now, I'm going to subtract the smaller of the x terms. In other words, what's smaller, 6 or 18? Which one's smaller, 6x or 18x? That's the smallest one, so I'm going to get rid of him. Okay? Get rid of him. I'm going to have 12x here plus 6 equals, and everything's going to cancel over here. Hey, you know what? Instead of having 6x minus 6x and getting 0, why don't I just take care of this right now? Okay? In other words, I don't really like having 0 over here. So what we'll do, we'll subtract 6 here and here. Now don't confuse it with these two. These two are going to cancel. You're going to end up with negative 6 here. You're going to have what? 12x, and then these are going to cancel. Okay? So now I've got negative 6 equals 12x, and I'm going to divide both sides of this by the coefficient of the variable. The variable is x, the coefficient is 12. So if I divide this by 12, and then divide this by 12, okay, then I will say that x equals, I can reduce this by 6 to be 1/2. So x is negative 1/2. Write it down like that. X equals negative 1/2, which is the final answer. When I solve this equation, I'm going to have x equals negative 1/2. Of course, we weren't really asking to solve the equation. Remember, we came up with this is equivalent to this. Okay, so in our answer, we're going to have A. But if they ask you to solve it, you'd have to take it all the way down to this. Right now, we're going to say, well, this is my answer.